I don't know. We're still talking about, I think we're live now, and we've just been racking our brains trying to figure out what just happened there and trying not to be the biggest homers on the planet, but what the
hostile just act?
What
Everyone just missed the meltdown Jimmy just had, man.
Oh,
Jeez.
my goodness.
I'm about to go hostile act on these refs, man.
Celtics postgame.
What the hell just happened?
Yeah, look, again, I hate it. First game of the NBA restart, we already have a moral victory, and I hate moral victories.
Unbelievable.
But, oh my goodness, thank goodness Tommy wasn't around for this.
Somewhere he was exposed.
I hope he's not watching tonight.
Because talk about the karma here. The Celtics got 35 free throw attempts tonight or something in that ballpark? And so that doesn't happen. And then what just happened late just happened. And let's just run through it real quick. Jimmy Toscano, Josue Pavone, Bobby Manning, Celtics postgame, first game of the NBA restart. And Celtics were in this one despite a terrible start. The Bucks started a game, 17-2 run. Celtics clearly weren't ready for action, but the beginning
on the own make.
Yeah, the beginning doesn't even matter anymore because it's what happened there in the fourth quarter. So let's just start to break it down. You had 3 extremely questionable calls go against the Celtics. Where do you guys want to start? Do we start with the hostile? Let's start with the hostile act because basically everything Giannis did in the fourth quarter from about 3 minutes on was totally fraudulent. He had 7 fouls in the game.
Absolute fraud.
Finished the game with 5.
The Bucks are a fraud team.
Yeah, fraud team. Yeah. But let's get into the calls. Okay, 3 questionable calls against the Celtics. Let's start with the hostile act. Guys, we've been looking this over and looking at the rule here. Jimmy, you're the most freaked out about it, so just let's walk through it.
I just think it's complete BS. I don't know if we can swear in this show, so I'll hold off. But
how dare you?
Just a quick Google of hostile act. 2 or more players engaged in a fight or a hostile physical interaction that is not part of normal basketball play and that does not immediately resolve by itself or with the intervention of game officials or players. This makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, look,
this was a personal foul.
They stopped play. They stopped play to presumably look at whether or not what was clearly a foul at least was more than just a foul and then called it no foul.
They reviewed that, but they didn't review when Giannis touched the ball. The ball was on the cylinder.
That's for sure. But the hostile act is just that Giannis is gone. He's out of the game at this point.
What's clear is he touched Tice on the play. There was contact there. It was on the screen.
Maybe he didn't mean to punch him in the ding dong, but he friggin' hit him.
This is the thing. It wasn't a flagrant. It wasn't a hostile act. But
he hit him.
In today's NBA, that's a personal foul. Everything's a damn personal foul.
If you swing an elbow under the basket, you hit somebody, it's a foul. You just didn't know he was there, but you hit him.
This is what happened. The ref blew the whistle and said, "Oh no, I forgot. Giannis already has 5 fouls," and he got a little buzz from the wherever they are, and you can't
blows my mind.
Go hostile act.
And that's what Barrett. They were saying this on Twitter too. The way you described the rule, Jimmy, was not the situation that happened out there. So to go to that, it feels like a cop-out for the situation. That's for a fight. That's for dramatic, a Draymond Green type play. Not what that was. And so all of a sudden you just have a foul pulled away because they went to this, straw man out of the book.
They're reaching for something.
99% of the time.
Yeah, they're
99%
reaching
of the
for
time. That's a personal foul, and then they might review it to see if it's a flagrant, which it wasn't. It was nothing really that serious. I said it was a little bit of a sell job by Daniel Tice. I'm sure he was fine. Yeah. But you do what you got to do to get the guy out of the game, and that's exactly what Daniel Tice did. What should happen is he should have been. Now listen, we all sound like a bunch of crybabies. We want the Bucks superstar to be out of the game so Celtics can win. It is what it is. It's just poor officiating at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But
all that being said,
fellas, if this happened to Marcus Smart, though, I don't know if we see the same results. You know what I mean? I can't help but think about it that way. Whereas, Giannis doesn't have the same kind of reputation. I think it plays a part in a way.
Oh, for sure. And again, Stevens says, Brad Stevens was talking a while ago, and he said that the refs told him outright, hey, we were reviewing it for a hostile act, not a foul. It wasn't a hostile act, so we called it nothing instead. And Stevens said, okay, and they moved on. So, he kind of took it. So that's one, and that one's going to be the big one because that's the most ridiculous, and that would have been Giannis' 6th foul. And then there was a 7th foul where there was a charge, called a charge, and they're like, you know what? It was actually a block and one. And so that keeps him in the game, gives Milwaukee 3 points there. And that was, again, just got insurmountable. And then you have also got the goaltend, which was a goaltend on Hayward. And you had those 2 back-to-back possessions there with poor Hayward. You know, he makes that great move, and that was the goaltending. And then he rims out that 3, and that would have changed the game completely as well. So it felt like a million things could have gone slightly different in the Celtics' favor and just didn't.
So I'm watching the charge take again, and it looks like Smart got his left foot out of the zone.
Yeah. No, get back to it. The charge was bad too. You know.
I mean, at first it looked like his left foot was in the zone, but he gets it out like an instant before Giannis makes the contact. And like they look at it, they call it a charge originally, and I don't see anything in there that changes it to block. And that's how these calls are made, right? You make one play, and then you have to have the evidence to overturn it. Like, you know, Joe Sway said it. We sound like babies, but I've never seen a game more in one team's hand and then completely pulled in the other direction by a series of calls like this one. We've had some big ones over the years. We've had some explosions on this show over the years, but this is as bad as I've seen it. And, you know, Giannis was kicking his leg around all night. There's a reason he had 5 fouls. He was jumping all over players. You saw the play early in the game where he jumped on Smart's back in the post there. I mean, they were going at it all night. Tons of contact both ways, but Giannis deserved to be on the bench, at least for one of those calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was frustrating because I feel like we got robbed of what could have happened. You know, Gordon Hayward was starting to feel it. You saw Jaylen Brown, Brad Stevens with the decision to keep him on the floor to start the fourth quarter. Because you know, if you're Brad Stevens, you're like, okay, he has 5 fouls, but I need some offense from someone because Tatum's not doing it. You know, he's made 1 shot out here, and Jaylen Brown stepped up. He had a huge 3-pointer. Him and Hayward kept the minute, and then just from that point, you know, after the controversy, you know, everything has changed from there.
All right, well, let's get to it, okay? Because let's stop.
I can't talk about the refs.
I don't want to listen to us cry anymore because it is what it is. But let's just break down the things in the game which actually will have a lasting impact, or at least we can talk about because the refs thing is out of our hand. Tatum was freaking brutal.
That's a second guess.
I mean,
we said this.
2 of 18. Yeah, 2 of 18, and one of them was just because he was in the neighborhood of a ball that the Bucks put in the basket. He put one ball in the basket, and he looked as bad. He wasn't even close. That, you know, in the fourth quarter there, he had an open fadeaway, which could have tied the game, and he missed that one too. I mean, that's wide open. He makes that 100 out of 100 times when he's in a good rhythm. So yeah, Jimmy, you were saying we were kind of a little worried about this in the preseason in the scrimmages.
Yeah, and what we said was, you need Tatum if you're not going to have Kemba, right? You need and Jaylen Brown has been playing was playing, you know, above and beyond, and him and Marcus Smart gave him the W tonight. But you need to have Jayson Tatum step up if Kemba Walker can't do his thing, and that's exactly what didn't happen. You know, is Kemba Walker played great when he did, but Brad Stevens, you know, kept to his promise of playing him under 20 minutes, and they needed Jayson Tatum in the fourth quarter, and they had. If Jayson Tatum just plays okay, the Celtics win this game. I mean, he was absolutely atrocious. So I guess that's a silver lining in a sense. You don't expect Jayson Tatum to play that awful, you know, every game or going forward. I mean, hopefully this is just an anomaly here because, as we said, you know, before this postponed season, he was playing like a top 5 player in the NBA. You know, he was so freaking hot. You knew he wasn't going to pick up right where he left off, but to go 2 for 18 and really 1 for 17. I mean, 1 for 18. That's
so
guys have bad shooting nights, though. But did he look? He looked offensively out of sync too. It wasn't just he looked like he was looking.
He looked comfortable.
He was looking for the shot at the wrong time, looking for the wrong types of shots, forcing it. Nothing came to him naturally. He didn't seem like he was in rhythm at any point tonight.
Which was most frustrating, especially, you know, shots at the rim. How many times did he get there, but just couldn't get it to fall? He just looked uncomfortable, and then at times, you know, complaining to the officials and. You know, to
looking for contact that wasn't there. You know,
exactly. You know, no one's around him.
Yeah,
that was the first play of the game.
They kept themselves in it. You know, they got to the free throw line. That was the most free throw attempts in one half. You know, they tied with the best they've done all season long. And then you had Jaylen Brown, Hayward getting into it. Marcus Smart, great game for Marcus Smart. I mean. That charge was okay, Marcus Smart has done it again. A crucial charge at the end of the game to take out another superstar. I was thinking about, you know, James Harden when he did that to him. And not so much.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd go with this. I see someone in the comments said Tatum's worst game ever. I tend to agree with that. And especially they had him in there in crunch time. He got to the right elbow, feet dancing a little too much and missed a bunny there. Got to the left elbow and missed another one there. So I was interested. I was like, is Stevens going to play this guy in crunch time the way it was going? And he stuck with his rotations. It worked with Brown, who was struggling throughout this one, and he ended up hitting 2 huge shots for them late. But, they might have been better off with a Brad Wanamaker in there tonight, especially the way he was playing in the second half. Unbelievable game from him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he was
a lot
good.
of angry people on Twitter right now getting in the mentions about this. It's not to go back to the hostile act, but I'm just checking up. yeah, I mean, that's the story. Unfortunately, that's the story tonight, right? No one's even going to talk about Jayson Tatum's struggles. They're going to talk about the rest.
No, we're going to talk about it.
No, we are, but the general public, it's sad that the talking point after the game is the refereeing, and that's kind of what we don't want.
That's it, because you're going to feel robbed. But at the end of the day, you're going to realize a game is a game, and it didn't really matter enormously. But
no,
Jayson,
they played better, John. They played better than what you thought they were going to play. They competed from.
Don't talk to me about that.
16-point buck prediction win for you. So,
yeah, John, the closest one for predictions, man. You can't give him that.
No, Bobby actually.
I predicted it perfect. Bucks by 7. Okay,
but I thought I was going to actually win that. I actually thought the Celtics were going to pull it off towards the end. I mean, they were hanging tough right until the very end. The score doesn't dictate.
It's not about predictions. It's about the things that are going to matter going forward. Jayson Tatum matters going forward. Jayson Tatum can't. Obviously, he's not going to be this bad. Jayson Tatum can't. We can't even afford to have Jayson Tatum be October, November, Jayson Tatum, or, early season Jayson Tatum. He has to be the guy we saw when last we left the Celtics.
Yeah, and he's not even close, right?
And he's not close. He doesn't look it right now, and it's early, but yeah.
He had a 1 for 17 against the Knicks, like it felt like a year ago at this point, and that's where he was at in November and such, falling down around the rim, all that kind of stuff.
Was like record-breaking.
Exactly.
And it feels like he's back there.
And that's right. Just in a snapshot view, the couple times we've seen, it feels like that game. And again, it's an overreaction. He goes out and he drops 38 next game, and we're all, oh, Tatum's back. But, you have to see it before you can move on, and we haven't seen it yet.
All right, guys, last thing I'm going to say about the officials. But listen, hear me out. Hear me out. This might be a good thing, all right?
Okay.
How much is the NBA bubble putting pressure on the refs now? Maybe they're just buckling under pressure now because maybe the crowd, wasn't even – maybe that made it easier for them. Now they got these guys in their faces. You got big Giannis in your face, crucial point in the game.
You're living down the hall.
Game.
Yeah.
We got to get this right. They huddle up, and they just overthought. Yeah.
You're walking by him in the bubble like, hey,
Giannis knows where they live now.
Hey, Giannis, what's up, man?
Wrong stage now.
See him in the cafeteria. No, actually,
nobody will sit with the refs in the caf. They're by themselves.
Wow, I'm getting flashbacks.
Dude, now Giannis is gonna give one of those officials his extra fruit cup or something. Like, here, man, thanks, bro.
Jimmy's stuffed in a locker in his own mind right now.
Give me flashbacks, man. Relax. I actually thought that without the fans, the refs would call it more even. They wouldn't get that. They wouldn't have the home crowd, sort of getting, what I mean? Like they wouldn't be swayed one way or the other.
That way last night.
But what the hell do I know? I mean, the freaking game audio is so damn loud. It's louder than a real game.
Okay. That's another one. And again, this was seemingly minor, but if we're at that point in the show, we can definitely talk about the fact that I know, but that was some Mickey Mouse stuff. That was, I mean, and I don't know how it got to that. I wasn't fully paying attention to it last year, but you got Nelson Muntz laughing when a free throw gets missed. It was was some weird slide whistle side stuff.
From experience,
in Disney World.
From experience, that place is obnoxious. That's exactly how Milwaukee is.
It is exactly. It's
exactly.
You've been there, Josue. That's right.
But without fans, it's the whole show. So yes, that is how they do it.
It's like when Philly, if you miss a free throw, you hear the kid from The Simpsons laugh.
That was exactly it. Nelson Muntz.
They just
did it here. Boy, yo, 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 yo.
Same thing in Philly. Yeah, they do the same thing.
Like NBA players are lining up like, what the hell is going on?
But I mean, music through possessions, tons of effects, and it was really a distracting mess of a production. I don't know.
Milwaukee has one court, man. Milwaukee has one court.
Now we hate everything about. You know what? They should just cancel the rest of the season.
This sucked. I hated this. I don't want any more.
This was horrendous.
This was I had a bad experience, and now Jimmy's thinking of high school.
1 star.
Everything
1 star.
is bad. Yeah.
Do not recommend this sport or game.
See, now my quarantine idea doesn't sound too bad now. Okay, my idea originally was pipe in sound from like the greatest bar or like the most obnoxious Boston bar you can think of, and just pipe that in for Celtics home games. Like that will be what people will hear, when the Celtics are on a big run.
Yeah.
The greatest bar during
Stay away from the bars.
It would be more conscious than what we heard from Milwaukee today.
Hey, I will say this: Celtics took an L, but and the game ended the way it did. But I would say, like, I think you're gonna be content with how they played. I mean, they definitely look like a team that can roll with the Bucks. I mean,
well, you know what I love?
The number one,
Kemba Walker. We had our questions about him. He looks great. I mean, he took advantage of every minute he was out there. He almost scored a point per minute. I thought Stevens rotated him perfectly.
Yeah, I would have liked to leave 5 minutes. I would have loved to find a way to leave 5 minutes in the just in case you needed him in the fourth.
Well, he said he wanted him in there in the flow. So he wasn't going to leave a gap between like 5 minutes into the third and the last. No,
I get it. You just wish there was something where maybe you stick with the rotation. So obviously he's going to start the second half, but then you expend all of your minutes there. It'd be nice if there was some left over. But you're right. In order to space it out, if you went 5-5-5-5. You would have had to sit him from basically the 5 minute mark of the third till the end of the fourth quarter, and you're right. That would have.
Well, that makes sense, but where he went off that was the Cantor minutes in the beginning of the fourth.
Yeah, I know, and we can get to Cantor too because I know
that's not staying in the rotation.
I know you want your pound of flesh there, but that was. Luckily, they survived that and came back and tied the game, or even took the lead after that. But that 7-0 run in the fourth quarter,
they go down 9.
Was all on Cantor. That was.
I think they actually went down 10 there. They were within 1. They go down.
But they called the timeout at 7. Yeah. They called the timeout at 7 points and got Cantor the F out of there, and it got to 10.
And it's like, what are you going to gain in that spot? You got one little dribble shot in the paint to go in, and on the other end, he's running back as Giannis is at the rim 10 seconds earlier. I don't know what he was trying to gain there. I get he was trying to stay rigid with things, but that didn't feel rigid. Like, was Cantor playing at the beginning of the second? He had that spurt at the beginning of the first, and it felt like he just squeezed him in there to get him to a minute total or something when it wasn't working. In fact, Grant Williams played good in the first half, and he probably would have been a better option there.
Real quick, anybody out there?
Tonight,
hold on, Joe. I just want to say, anybody out there right now on any of our platforms? I see a lot of chat on the YouTube page. If you guys want to throw in some questions here, we'll answer them right now. Our fearless leader Nick Gelso is battling Milwaukee Bucks fans on our YouTube page.
He may not survive.
he's going toe to toe. But if anybody out there listening wants to submit a question, we'll try to get to it. But go ahead, guys. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there.
I just want to throw out a question for everyone. What do we make of Daniel Tice, though? I was impressed. I thought he played a good game. He got a couple of tough breaks here and there, with fouls, but overall defensively, I thought he played a heck of a game.
That block in the fourth was ginormous. The one that sent Wanamaker out for that make, I think, with about 5 minutes to go. He had a big 3 when Lopez was camping in the post, a big putback, free throws. He did a little bit of everything for them.
Tice gives you everything you need. You can't ask for more from him. He's 6'8", playing center. He's obviously going to get beat up sometimes inside, but all of the stuff you guys mentioned, always those great seals on drives.
He had one phenomenal one.
He and Marcus Smart have a really good thing going there on pick and rolls, and he's just really, and he'll step out and he'll extend the D. He took Lopez out of the key a little bit.
Right.
At least,
and that was huge.
At least the threat of the 3. He does everything you want out of him, and he's surprisingly athletic. He can do a lot.
Right. That's why I think, especially for matchup reasons, you're going to see him more than you'll see anyone else, more than Cantor or more than Grant Williams. I feel like because of this matchup, you're going to see their minutes get cut because of they had to. That's what Stevens does against the Bucks. we saw this really short rotation, and 2 or 3 of those last guys, no one really played much more than 10 or 12 minutes.
Right.
Well, it's the fouls that you run into. You had 5 in this one. You got to keep those low, and you need that second. This is exactly what I said in our preseason chats. Who is that second guy you go to when Cantor just can't play? Because this was a game where the first rotation Cantor goes through. It's a mess. That's where you have to shut him down for the night. And Rob's not an option. Obviously, he didn't go into this one. And it's Grant. It's got to be Grant.
You can't do Grant against the Bucks. He'll get eaten alive by their length. So it's a bad matchup here. You need it to be Cantor or Time Lord if you're going to have Lopez in the game, and neither one of those guys is going to do it. So you just got to kind of, like I said, you're trying to sneak in those Cantor minutes. You want to get them in there and not get burned, and they got burned tonight, and it is what it is. But I don't know that they don't have the solution. I don't think there is one there. You just got to play what you got.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you get nothing out of Tatum in this one, but I actually thought the bench was pretty solid. A few good semi-minutes.
Wanamaker
closed half. Wanamaker, I thought was his best game with the Celtics. Finishing, free throws, all that stuff.
And look, fine. Tatum was brutal. But Middleton had one of his worst games ever against the Celtics. Yeah. 6 of 20. 2 of 9 from 3. He was completely neutralized. Giannis was unstoppable again, but that was it. I mean, it was Giannis and then the refs, really. But that was a totally winnable game. They completely took Middleton out of or Middleton just had an off night.
The Celtics were like,
we lost somebody. Where did Jimmy go?
I don't know, man.
He's going to go polish the hard hat.
What's wrong with this guy?
Comes with the hard hat.
Can you pull it together?
Disappears.
Did you have to flip it around or something?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Jimmy, what's wrong with you?
I told you, bro. There's no filter, man. You can't change it. That's the way you look.
Unbelievable. I was trying to talk that whole time. I was like, these guys are completely ignoring me right now. And it turns out you couldn't hear me.
I know you're trying to get a filter on.
I was pretty much.
Did you hit the thing? Did you hit?
And one of the many things we learned is that the size is still a major issue. I mean, like Lopez was killing them. Giannis obviously was killing them. They have no answer for size down low.
Yeah,
no answer. And obviously Cantor. I mean, we already kind of knew that, but I mean that was clearly on display. I do think Tice had a good game, but that being said, it's not enough for the actual down low.
But why lament it? I mean, no team has an answer for their death lineup when you've got all the wings out there spreading the floor, and they're athletic, and you can't keep up with them. Nobody. I mean, they are what they are. When you play teams like this, you're going to have to suffer some of it. It could have been worse, all things considered. I mean, this is a tough matchup for the Celtics when it comes size-wise. That's always how it's going to go. They did have success that one time when they played Lopez off the floor, forcing Milwaukee to put Giannis at the 5 there, and the Celtics were able to kind of make a run. So, again, they forced Milwaukee to react to them, and that's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah, but what also drove me crazy was the shooters. It was like Giannis is this magnet whenever he comes in, and he's got an open guy, whether it was Lopez or Wesley, and those threes, 2 threes, put those together. It was those runs that were just the Celtics just couldn't come back from. It took them forever to get the first lead of the game in the second half, and then back came the Bucks with more shooters. And I think at one point, Tyson's like on the ground, and Lopez is wide open in the corner. Open for a 3. I mean, those are the shots that are going to kill you, and that's the kind of defense where the Celtics have to defend the corner. They have to get the perimeter. I'm still kind of surprised we didn't see Romeo tonight, but then again, Shemi wasn't bad defensively. Shemi played all right, but I don't know.
That's a match.
Offense. I thought we'd see Romeo a little bit today.
Well, we're right back to where we were, guys. We talked about it in the last preseason game, last scrimmage game, whatever, when it was all bench players. It was the Red Claws. And, we're talking about, can you play in a meaningful game, Romeo or Rob, against teams like the Bucks in games that matter? And even in game 1 of a restart, when people don't have their wind and you think you're going to go deeper into your bench, and even the Bucks were, Giannis played 5 minutes in the first 5. People weren't playing long minutes tonight, and they still couldn't find time to get either of these guys in the game. That's a little disconcerting.
Especially
I like the rotation that they got off the bench, though. They kept it short, just like we expected them to. Semi gives them a few good minutes. Marcus Smart, like, you still have to think of him when everybody's healthy as a bench piece, and he gives you all you need and more out of that six-man spot tonight. Like, this was one of his better games in the uniform, and I still love what Grant gave them in this one. I feel like it's going to be a matchup basis there, but it still is that thing with Romeo. You look at it, and it's like, he can't even give you 1 minute in this one. Like, what holds him to a 0 in this matchup if he actually is showing to be a useful force? It's everything that surrounds him is so strange and mysterious and doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, agreed. For me, it's the foul trouble. I mean, what was it? You had Jaylen Brown, 5 fouls, Tice, 4, Tatum, 3, Wanamaker, 3. End of the third quarter, around that time, or maybe like around the 4-minute mark, I thought we'd see him just to sort of give him a go, see how he finishes the quarter. Nothing. I mean, that's my only one, Romeo, because the way Tice was playing, and you wanted having boards. I'm not too upset about not seeing Rob tonight. I'm sure we'll see him in the next 7 games.
Wherefore,
when they play the Nets.
I forgot all about that guy. I forgot all about him.
Especially when they play the Nets, he'll go off.
That's when the hype train will start. Just wait till we get to the Nets and the Wizards game at the end of this. Those guys are going to come in like a storm, and there's going to be a lot of hype going into the playoffs.
We'll see.
It's true. But then again, there's another big game Sunday. Like, these matchups aren't going to be easy. And
what's it, Portland?
The Heat.
Oh, the Heat.
Yeah.
Well, Tuesday, the Heat.
I want to see Kemba's minutes tick up a little bit. Tick up. I want to see him playing in the third. I want to see him playing in the fourth.
Well, you guys still worried about him? Did tonight ease your
I'm
concern?
I'm not worried. No, I mean, it sounds like they're following, whatever the.
Yeah, I think we actually got the truth from them for once. Like, he looks fine when he's in his runs. They're ramping him up. Like John said at the beginning of the show, it would have been nice to see him at the end, but they were following that plan.
Yeah.
And I don't know, what is it about him? The Bucks can't defend him, and it looks like he's one of the better guys in the league at facing this team. Yeah. I don't know if it's the bounces out of the screens or what.
There's nobody on this team, right? As big a bigger problem as Giannis is, and Kemba's not on that level, there's nobody on this team that can defend Kemba. So you want to see him do what he did, which is be aggressive. Every minute he's on the floor against this team, you want to see him with the ball in his hands and go, look for his shot, because they don't have an answer for him. If he gets hot, let him roll.
I saw him yelling at one of the Celtics trainers too when they took him out the first time, and I was like, is he sore, or is he mad they took him out of the game? It must have been the former, because he was feeling good. He was getting under his shots. I didn't get to the rim a ton, but I think what makes him so effective against this team is that Lopez sits back. Those big guys sit back. They keep you out of the paint, and he can pull up. You know what bothered me early in this one is that Hayward got those same opportunities and blew them again and again, and I thought that was a big reason they got down early is he was missing a lot of bunnies. He ended up bouncing back with some good movement later, but still not what you want to see from him.
No, he's Mr. Mid-range, so sometimes that's going to drop and it's going to be great, and exactly if Lopez stays home, that's exactly what you want. Yeah, but it wasn't falling early for him. He looked great. He looked assertive late, I thought.
I just think the ball moves better when Kemba's out there. You just see the difference, especially in that third quarter. You just saw the momentum shift, and I'm thinking this is it. And the Celtics really, kept with it moving forward. But just to go back a second, like from a minute ago, when you guys said about Kemba Walker, though, you guys are concerned about this. He's hurt though, right? Like that's why this is a minute restriction. I don't think this is strictly precautionary. Like I really wouldn't be shocked if he goes through some sort of minor procedure or.
Oh yeah, I think so.
An invasive procedure on his knee or something, whatever they're going to word it to make you not worry about it. He's going to go through something.
But does he look hurt? Does he look hurt out there? Does he look like he's playing like hindered, or does it look like he's thinking too much?
We're not going to know till he clocks in 30 minutes. That's the thing.
That's the thing. I'm worried about tomorrow or the day tomorrow when we're like, swelling, he's going to sit out Sunday's game, and then you've got a problem.
Oh, no, I'm thinking long term. I'm not worried. I'm so worried to see him out there doing 30.
I'm always dubious, and I'm a cynic about this stuff. I don't believe anything when it comes to injuries. I think most people are pretty dubious too. But look,
the Celtics.
Yeah, it's right. They lost that right with the KG stuff. But
Isaiah Thomas,
everything,
Kyrie Irving, to name a few,
everything. So yes, but in this case, I'm just going by what my eyes see, and he looks okay. Bobby, are you okay? I'm not hearing you well, my man. Try to talk. No, we lost Bobby.
I can't hear Bobby anymore.
Bobby, you're going to have to leave us and come back on.
If you talk closer, we'll hear you. Damn.
Yeah. I kicked him. I kicked him out of the club. Let me.
Why do you think that was going to help?
All right,
here he is.
Bobby, let's try you again. No.
Yeah, Bobby.
It's not going well. Not going well. Bobby's out. We're going to wrap up the show. We've been going for a while. So, final takeaways. Was okay to see them tonight. They did go toe-to-toe with the Bucks for the third time this year. And again, I think if you see this team in the playoffs, there's no way you're going to have what you had last season. I think that this is – we lost Jimmy too.
I got you, man. I'm still rocking with you.
Yeah. And that's it. Should we try them one more time?
Yeah, try them.
I'm afraid.
They're probably going to come back in.
Bobby?
Yeah, I figured.
No, Bobby, you're done. That's it. 3 strikes, you're out, buddy.
Oh, man. Should have had him
try Jimmy one more time. Jimmy?
Yeah?
Yeah, here he is.
Yeah, I got you, but I don't have Jose now.
Can you hear me though?
I'm going to wrap it. Yeah. We're having technical difficulties, so I'm going to wrap it up. Jimmy first.
Technology, man.
Jimmy first, final thoughts, and a look ahead to Sunday. Go.
Final thoughts. Overall, I think the Celtics, there was a lot that I liked about the Celtics today. I mean, Kemba looked good for the minutes he played. I thought Marcus Smart looked awesome. Gordon Hayward played well. We barely talked about him. There was a lot of good things. I mean, you could focus on the one negative, which was clearly Jayson Tatum, but that's an anomaly to me. I'm not ready to throw, no one's worried about Jayson Tatum after one game. Let's just assume that it's just one bad game, a little shaking the rust off, whatever it is. He'll come out, much better on Sunday is my bold prediction.
Josue, what's your wrap up on this game? Not the non-referee edition. Your final thoughts.
Pure basketball?
Yeah.
There's plenty of positive takeaways from this game. I mean, Tatum, obviously, he's not going to continue to play that way. I don't think so. Again, because of his mechanics and the way he was, his approach to the game, it just wasn't his night. But the Trailblazers, I mean, they're fighting for something here. So, again, the schedule doesn't get easier for the Celtics. This is actually the toughest part, in my opinion, the beginning.
Yeah.
And between the what we saw Friday night and what we saw Sunday, you're going to see a completely different approach, I think. I think you'll see more of the younger guys with Brad Stevens' rotation. You definitely see a completely different Jayson Tatum. But there's going to be a tough matchup, though. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I'm really excited for it. But defensively, I think the Celtics are going to have to buckle down, or they may see another L before the weekend. All
right, I'm taking a sky is falling approach no.
They might take another L, man. They might.
L or not, it's been my concern before the games, during the scrimmage games, and then again tonight. I'm not worried about Tatum. I'll just feel a lot better when I see one of those games where he just goes bananas and just does the things that he was doing late in the year, and then you know that it's there. And it's great. He's got it. Just a matter of accessing it. But I don't want to see another 2, 3, 4 games of this, and then I'm still heading into the playoffs because it's a really short runway. So in the next 2, 3, 4 games, because then once the seed is locked in, you're going to start resting guys, and the games aren't going to count anymore. You basically got a 3, 4 game window for here to get your shit together, and I want to see it happen.
And we're talking about 5 games in 7
I agree.
Games.
Yeah, I want to see it happen sooner than later. So I'm not freaking out in the sense that I don't think it's going to happen. I would like to see it.
And I'll say, if this guy has an 8 a.m. tea time tomorrow and he's not in the gym putting
there it is. There it is.
I'll be the guy.
Yo, enough with the golf. Yeah, I'm with Jimmy, man. This is it. The regular season now. I don't want to see snaps or Instagram posts.
What did he say? What did he say? I can't hear him.
I'm pissed.
He's mad. Jimmy, he thinks you're an idiot. He said your hat looks dumb. Yeah,
right. That's wrong.
And he doesn't trust your basket. He doesn't at all trust your basketball opinion.
Neither do I.
You believe me too.
We're in agreement on that one.
No, but I mean, it's like we're 3 Michael Felgers here with the golf thing. You know that's what they're going to be. He's going to be talking about on Monday. Why is he golfing? But I mean, again, we just want to see that.
There's a little truth to. I mean, we're half joking, right? I mean, if it keeps it up, then it's going to eventually be a storyline. So hopefully, it doesn't.
Sure, but it's connecting
just
dots.
Focus on
it's fine,
on
but
basketball.
Connecting dots that don't necessarily need connecting. If he was playing the violin at home and told nobody and spending 6 hours a day on the violin, none of us are here talking about, well, he's got to put down that violin.
If I found out
I don't know, Dan.
On the violin, you're damn right I'm going to.
Or if he's learning Spanish or something, it doesn't matter. Like, he's doing something else to better himself. Who cares about golf? I mean, it's not a cause and effect thing.
It's physical. It's a physical activity, okay?
He's not hurt. Yeah, I don't know.
You never know.
5 hours on the golf course is 5 less hours in the gym. So get in the gym.
But it's guitar, what if he's playing guitar with his fingers?
Get off the guitar. Get off the guitar too, man. You're trying to win a championship. This isn't the off season anymore.
Oh man.
You see winter Tatum, all right? No more tan Tatum, all right?
Oh my God.
Too much.
All right, we're wrapping it up because the chat in our YouTube channel has reached the Taco Fall portion of things. So I think
God.
Get out of here, boo.
we're done. We'll wrap it up. We're back on Sunday. Thank you for watching. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I can't promise that we're going to have it fixed by Sunday.
Part of the show, man.
But it's just part of the charm. Yeah, I hope so. For Josue and Jimmy, thanks, guys.